Now, we begin. And indeed, once again, greetings unto you, beloved and holy children of light divine. Indeed, greetings unto you, my brothers and sisters, some of which I have journeyed with through innumerable worlds, even into this what you call your planet, for we have indeed journeyed together, not merely in that incarnation that has become somewhat famous, but in other lands as well. Indeed, greetings unto you who have elected incarnation upon this plane, this planet, at this time, because, and this is true for each and every one of you, at the level of soul, you know the time is at hand. Greetings unto you who have elected of themselves to complete their own journey into Christ's mind and have joined the matrix of humanity to work out the salvation within yourself that has afflicted the entire matrix of mankind far too long. It is not by accident for each and every one of you that you have come to this planet at this time. It is not by accident that you have encountered the parents, the family, the culture into which you have incarnated. You chose it. You elected it. Because you know that a great change is coming in the matrix of mankind and in the matrix of the entity or soul that you know is the Holy Mother, the Earth. She too is preparing to go through a slight change of consciousness. These two threads, as I've shared with you before, are merging for the first time in human history, a major transformation in both the matrix of human consciousness, what we call the atonement, and that which is the energy of the consciousness of your beloved planet, Mother Earth, are preparing to, shall we say, take a bit of a quantum leap in levels of consciousness at the same time. You have known this at the level of soul. You have incarnated now. It is indeed time to drop all pretense that you do not know in the depth of your soul that it is not by accident that you are here. The intense and the intensity of the intense lessons you have called to yourself and what you call your early childhood have not been by accident. You have quickened your own journey, recognizing that there is little time left to complete the journey before such learning lessons can no longer be experienced upon this plane. Does that make sense for you? All of you are familiar with the sense of quickening, the sense of knowing deep within. It is not in what you call, what you've been calling here, the thinking mind. It is at a much deeper level. Is this not true, that you feel it? Mm-hmm. Yes. There is no one here who was not feeling it when you were very young and felt it periodically. And at times it tortured you. At times it comforted you. At times it perplexed you. At times you believed it must just be a moment of imagination, some strange energy passing through. But in each of those moments it was the soul moving its energy into the body and what you call the thinking mind to help ground in you the note of the atonement, the note of the transfiguration of mankind. To be activated, it'd be like what you call a homing signal. being placed or implanted within you, although your own soul is doing it. And that in the right time, something occurred that suddenly quickened you, and you felt the call of stepping onto a genuine spiritual path. Isn't this not true? No. Is it not time for you to trust this?
Yes. Yes.
It has not been by accident. It has not been because someone has forced it upon you. It is a recognition coming from within that resounds with a truth that knows now is the right time.
Yeah, now is the right time.
Yes,
Since you are electing to have what you call the physical eyes one last time, you might as well use them and look around at each other for a moment. Everyone you see in this room has already been connected to what you would now call this pathway in different lifetimes. But all of you share this one thing. The pathway of the Christ is your pathway. So you look not upon a stranger, but a brother or sister. Each of the beings you look at, and as they look at you, has incarnated with a particular remaining learning lesson to complete that is required. The very same energetic states that you have known, confusion, doubt, unworthiness, and all of the rest. All of you know what it's like to feel bound up and cut off, and yet being moved by energies that were tormenting and confusing within your being. All of you have known these same effects. It has been quickened for you because the soul has known that now is this opportunity to fully work out your salvation and awaken truly to the power of love within you, to dismantle and dissolve every last trace of the illusion of fear that begets the children of unworthiness, of unlovability, of incapability, and to take up your rightful place with us, those that have awakened before you and have formed what we now call for this pathway the Christ Council or the lineage. Your place awaits you. You are indeed a part of this pathway. You are not alone, and we are with you. As you look upon one another, recognize that within the one you are seeing is the same potential that I realized and manifested as a man, to help quicken in you the realization that these things too shall you also do, that this you shall also be. You have come then not to suffer the world, but to awaken within the world, that the world may awaken within you. You have come to awaken in the world, that the world may come to awaken in you.
Woohoo!
Let the light of what you commonly use the word breath, let the light of the breath, which is truly the light of the Holy Spirit, descend and make its home with that truth in your being. You are here on this planet. Your soul knows why. You have come to awaken in the world so that the world may finally arise and awaken in you. You have no other purpose. Our task has always been to raise the consciousness of humanity as what most of you would think of as physical beings on a planet. And for now we can call it that. Our only task of the lineage of the Christ Council has been to suffuse matter or nature with the light of pure spirit of Christ mind, to generate individuals shimmering and shining, yet expressing the same light, recognizing their perfect oneness of spirit, yet manifesting in the appearance of individual men and women. This is unique upon this planet, that even that which is the physical form, the lowest vibration of density that creates manifested experience, can be so suffused by that formless light that the two have become one. Matter becomes spirit, spirit becomes matter. You are therefore not here to escape this world. You are here to bring heaven to it. When I once said, heaven and earth shall pass away, it was within a context in which the meaning was very clear. Heaven and earth shall pass away means that they will cease to exist as separate states. That cannot happen until a sufficient number of us join together and demonstrate this truth. That the earth of your being, what you call your thinking mind, which is just a product of a certain energy of identification with what you call the body. The body has a core contraction of what you call fear. And as you heal from fear into love, even the body itself relaxes and uncoils into light, and increasingly light operates through the body to bring miracles, to bring manifestation. Your world calls them miracles, yet miracles are natural to the soul or the mind that purely loves. Miracles are natural. The day indeed will come when the waters of this planet will be absolutely pristine. Colors never seen before will appear in the sky. The shimmering radiance that is always there, veiled to mankind because of fear, will shine forth brightly. The radiance of pure spirit, the soul of the Holy Mother, will be seen and felt and known by all beings. They'll know it's the pulse of the Spirit's life that is the very bones of their bones and the blood of their blood. And that these will not know any difference or separation from the higher lights of pure spirit, the invisible lights. Merged as one, there will be nothing impossible to you. As this becomes manifested upon this plane, well, I'm afraid it will give you nothing to do.
Yes.
Except celebrate in praise of the unknowable, incomprehensible light that is the love of the Creator. And yet you will be feeling it pulse in your veins. You will hear it spoken with each word. You will join with a brother or sister, created vision will be given, and you will manifest it. And it will merely increase the praise of that one's name. Or if you prefer, you can leave any time you wish. You've done that many times. Contrive to, shall we say, end the life of the body. But of course, this is never more than a withdrawal of the soul from the body, as it withdraws the valuation it would give upon it and its forms of experience. You've done this countless times, have you not? So the first thing that we wish to share with you in this hour is for you now to breathe deeply the light of spirit and let the truth land within you. You have incarnated knowing your purpose is to finally delay no longer the completion of your own flowering in Christ's mind, the total integration of all that can mean, and do it in the span of one brief human incarnation, because you know that the opportunity to do so is swiftly coming to a close. That is, as the earth itself joins with this quantum leap of atonement or transfiguration in human consciousness, many frequencies available to you now won't be able to incarnate here. So if you haven't mastered fear with love, recognize that the day comes when you won't be able to work that one out here any longer. Because fear won't be incarnating here. You are the one that must come to know your mastery. This can only mean that you are in the perfect ashram now. That in each and every moment in which your mind would lead you to believe there's something to be fearful of, this is the time to take a breath and go, no, this is my opportunity to master through love that which dissolves all fear. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And so you see, you walk around on a planet populated by nothing but your saviors. If only you could truly see how true this is. For nothing can arise by accident. You have never been a victim of the world you see. Where you've seen the world, you have called to yourself. Some of you still struggle with a sense of guilt or self-admonishment. How could I have been so stupid? It is not stupidity that can manifest the desire of a world, call it into being, and then weave all the threads together to create exactly the experience you most wish to have. That is not stupidity. This is why I've often said to you, you have never failed. And you have never sinned. Sin is impossible. Except in a mind in which love has been forgotten. Your incarnation, then, has not been by accident. And the forces and dynamics that you found yourself amidst, swirling around you, all of them have represented energies that you have not yet learned to turn toward and dissolve in the power of love. Your recoil from it is the same recoil that has been carried from other incarnations. Does that make sense for you? This is why it is so important, as you truly choose to awaken as the Christ you are, which means to realize or manifest your own innate potential, not just believe in it. I'm the Christ. What a comfortable belief. But I'm not going to share my truth with you. You may not like me. If you consider it, you might find some contradiction in those two statements. But it is time to no longer allow contradiction to live in your being. Not in thought, not in feeling, not in action. It is time to recognize you need not cripple yourself any longer. For each time you have allowed contradiction to operate through the mind and to manifest two contrary states in your being, and thus what looks like two paths you can follow, you have crippled and hurt yourself. Love knows but one path. It rests in its own being. It is supremely confident in itself. It lives from itself. It communicates from itself. It allows the effects of that communication and living to be left on the altar of God, who alone knows how best to weave the offering of love for the journey of all involved. Your only task is to receive love for yourself, rest in it truly, and allow it to carry you as it carries you, to move you as it moves you. It is not possible to realize the potential of Christ until this truth is so certain in your bones that you will never tolerate living in contradiction again. It's just not possible. And so we speak often to you, look well into the nature of the mind you have made. Look well upon the beliefs and perceptions the mind holds. Learn to question every belief you have ever held of anything or anyone. When you are truly willing to allow into your consciousness the recognition that none of your thoughts or perceptions or beliefs have ever been true about anything or anyone, you open the back door to the soul, where the weeds have grown up so much you forgot there was a back door. But the second you crack it open, in we rush. For we want to find our home in union with you. Light will rush in to join with you. And revelation occurs. If only you could come to see, beloved friends, and this is the essence of what we want to share with you in this hour. The time is indeed at hand because you've always known this is the time. Yet sometimes still you let yourself delay. You allow the mind to convince you there's plenty of time. That impulse in my heart, tomorrow. After all, I have other things to do. You have nothing to do save the acceptance fully of the atonement for yourself, so fully as light descends into the depth of your being, that you realize and know the truth you've always known, you care for it so much that nothing your physical eyes show you, nothing that the mind conjures can move you an iota not even a fraction of an inch. You will not give up the truth for anything. You will live completely without contradiction. Now, does this mean you'll instantly be loved by all? If there is even a thought in the mind of wanting to be loved by all, or fearing not being loved by all, you are in contradiction. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
For indeed you are asked only one simple thing, to accept and love the self God has made and would realize as your own individuation, rather than the self you have made as a substitute. You are asked to love no one but yourself. For when you love truly that self, you have loved your Creator fully. You have given to the Creator the only gift you can ever give in gratitude to God, is to fully and finally love the self of that one with birth. When you fully give yourself to that, well, you'll find yourself perfectly alone. Hardly. When truly you have come to recognize you need put no energy into loving another from the hope that there will be something returned, that they will approve of you or like you, or you'll finally, I don't know, be warm at night, or whatever the reason might be. Buy a blanket. Better to help what you call the gross national product of your country by buying a product than to use another human being as an object to satisfy your needs. When you fully, truly decide and come to love the self that God has made and is manifesting eternally and ceaselessly through unfolding it in His own nature, when you love the self God has made so much that you will not tolerate error in yourself any longer, you will not be alone, for you will find that you love all beings equally and from the same level of consciousness. And in that level of consciousness, called the Christ, you will see them as they truly are, while recognizing where they may yet be limiting themselves from knowing it. And you will recognize that your presence in their life has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with being the conduit through which that one alone can move, operate, so that the one before you can realize they too are that one and can come to fully love themselves. Here then is the purpose of all relationship. Here the purpose that turns specialness into holiness. To see that the one before you belongs to the Creator. And that your heart's desire, everything in your being wants only to serve their flowering, which can only be their complete remembrance, that they need depend on nothing and no one. They need only come to love the self that God has created and would continually birth through them. You will come to love so freely and purely that their flowering, even if it means they're going to leave you, even if it means they forget you ever existed, none of this will matter. For in the fullness of the one that you say you love is your own fullness. The flowering of the self God would make in the other before you is your flowering. The deep peace of Christ, the perfect freedom of Christ, is found and realized when there is no longer any trace left of anything but such a love. For anything else must be part of the dream of separation in which the kingdom or the queendom is forgotten. When you love another that wholly, you will know you are whole, and that you are wholeness itself. Is this not what you would seek? Seek not then for yourself, for it will fail. Seek to love so fully in the love and light of God that your only interest is in the flowering of the one set before you. Do you know that this is the only place in the entire creation in which such sounds can be made? Do you understand that only on this planet, in the experience that you're having now, and that I once had as a man upon your plane, and am rather curiously enjoying temporarily right now, the movement of air upon vocal cords to create sound that can be shaped into words that conveys truth and love, this only happens on your planet. Where I abide quite permanently, and that will give you something to think about, for I abide permanently with my brothers and sisters in a field of infinite pure light. And yet here I am with you. This might tell you where you also abide. There is hardly a use for vocal cords, since communion and communication is instantaneous, effortless, unbounded, and without obstruction. Have you ever tried to achieve that in a relationship? Be honest with yourself. If you would truly relate one unto another, come to recognize that the only way you can know this is to first ensure that you live fully without contradiction in your being. It creates a static and a noise. It fuels the voice of fear. If you would know communion and union with your beloved, a friend, doesn't matter, a tree, a cloud, doesn't matter, when you fully are ready to be committed to living from the heart as the self God made, without contradiction, without explanation and excuse, and thereby give all beings freedom to see you any way they wish, you will begin to touch the sphere of genuine communion and communication that is effortless, it is eternal, It is instantaneous and it is undeniable. You will be able to be with one who wants to persecute you, and nothing in you will change at all. You will rest in the love you are, and you will already be in communion with the depth of their soul. Communion, communication, requires not the great efforting, but the great purging of the patterns in which you have justified a contradictory existence. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
Look well then, in your next 72 hours, look well and ask but this one question. Where truly am I still allowing myself to live in contradiction with the depth of what my true self knows and is? Look well and let yourself see and fear not. When you choose to surrender or relinquish identity and the energy you give to the contradictions in your being, they will fall away, and you could say it would be like an icicle that will dissolve into nothingness before it reaches the floor. When you allow your inner being to live without contradiction, everything around you must, what is your term, the shape shift, I believe is one of your words. The universe around you must shape shift to acknowledge the truth of the Christ that walks within it. The problem that you have had as you have wanted to heal and awaken, you have felt that expansion, you have felt the truth of the soul, and then the mind thinks about particular other individuals, and you become fearful of how they will see you or respond to you. And in that moment, you have made them your God. This is fundamentally no different. Imagine you have a job, one of your large corporations, and you've just gotten hired, you're just out of school, so they put you in the mailroom. It's you and the other. You're both just lowly mail clerks. You look at the other mail clerk and say, "You are my God." You've turned a lowly mail clerk into the CEO of the entire corporation. And you hang on every word they say and every subtle gesture of feeling they exhibit. And you become devoted to making sure this other mail clerk is always happy, never disturbed. And you worry constantly when you go home at night what they might be thinking of you. Now, of course, that is just a metaphor. But in it is a deep kernel of truth. Look well and ask of yourself, where and with whom have I turned a mail clerk into God? For rest assured, each and every one of you is a mail clerk. It's all you can ever be. What mail you deliver is determined by the quality of your consciousness and the degree to which You have come to love self Godward birth. Is that clear for you?
Yes.
You're always delivering the mail. Could be useless advertisement. Well, do we see the number of trees that your human consciousness devours to create meaningless advertising for things no one wants? In the hope that if someone picks up this scrap of paper and is foolish enough to spend their golden coins on this worthless thing nobody needs, that then the one that sent out the advertising will finally be able to be rid of their fear of lack. Contradiction in my words, in my gestures, in my use of time, in the thoughts I hold of myself or another, in the vision I give myself to, contradictions in the way I breathe, contradictions in the way I look upon another. These things are what cripples you. For you see, in Christ's mind, there's only one way to look upon another. Certainly not as a problem, not as a threat, not as a potentially useful object. In Christ's mind, the only way to look upon another is to see them as whole and complete and loved by and owned fully by their Creator. This is the only way to greet them. Ask well then of yourself, to what degree am I vigilant to ensure that when I look upon another, I remember and rest in this most sacred of truths? The one before me does not belong to me. They are whole and complete, and they are the offspring of my Father. And all that matters is the radical and complete flowering of the Christ in them. Then you can ask, Father, how would you have me be with this one now? To reach this level of consciousness, which takes only a little willingness and a use of intelligence that shows you are tired of your suffering, this is what brings contradiction to an end. When contradiction has come to an end, you will see things precisely as they already are, have always been, and forever shall remain in the mind of God. You will see the perfect innocence of all form. You will see the orchestration of perfection in all things. You will recognize that there is nothing but grace present. You will know the perfect freedom of perfect contentment, wanting nothing, letting all things be just as they are. For nothing can be arising that does not serve the atonement of all beings. As Christ, you will have no problem abiding with things just as they are. For inwardly you are without contradiction. For there can be no contradiction in the soul that has learned to love. And this means that if you would know love, you must love in this way. You can no longer love in the hope of gaining something in return. That's a contradiction. To love so purely that you know the one before you belongs to God and that your great joy and your fulfillment is in participating in their flowering in whatever way that's going to be, you just give yourself to it and allow it. That is your fulfillment. This is why relationship is the means of your salvation. The flowering of the fruit of all of your work on relationship, from forgiveness to seeing all of the egoic patterns, the flowering of relationship is holiness. And holiness can only abide in you when you come to fully recognize precisely what I've been describing to you. For only when you are without contradiction can you see the other truly. You see them as soul. You see them as precious gift. You see them as something to take such good care of. Not someone to use, not someone to hide behind, and most certainly not someone to project what you no longer want via blame, fault-finding, and all of the rest. The question I would ask of you in this hour, are you willing to experience the realized life of living without contradiction?
Yes.
Yes.
Even if everything you now believe you know to be your life vanishes?
Yes.
Yes.
Well then, perhaps our cosmic parties will become more populated. To live without contradiction is to know the perfect peace of Christ. To live without contradiction is to be opened to the clear light, the light of perfect clarity, in which love knows how to meet the moment. You become the witness of how love meets the moment through you, yet you have absolutely no attachment to it, because you already know it is simply serving the flowering of the other's Christ mind. You will be so free that in one moment you might be turning away from them because that's exactly what they need to have happen. And in the next moment you're buying them flowers. Yet you will not see a contradiction, because each moment is the fulfillment of that which moves through you as the purity of love that is not contradicted because it is coming from a confused self that has never been real. In short, you become the conduit through which the Father is loving his creation into that which he wants his creation to be. You become mere conduit. That's all. Here then is the great contradiction. In Christ's mind, it is not the gaining of anything for yourself, but the loss of everything that has hidden yourself from yourself. The Lord thy God is a jealous God. Have you heard that phrase?
Yes.
It's true.
Thank you, Father.
The Father's jealousy is such that he wants all of you for himself. all of the healing you go through is brought about by the grace that is returning you to be the sole possession of God. God is incredibly jealous, wants all of you, and won't stop until he does. Have and possess and operate through you. The end of every trace of suffering, no matter the form, is found in precisely this. Into thy hands I commend my spirit. I am but your conduit. This is my fulfillment, to be that one through whom you love your creation into what you would have it be. You live then in relationships in what could be called disinterestedness. Do you know what you call getting caught in the dramas?
Yes.
No, what's that?
You, my brother, may be able to fool some.
Thank you, brother.
Drama in your being is the effect of your desire for contradiction in your being. I will guarantee you, if you spend the time necessary to look at every drama you experience it first only in your mind, then you feel its effects, and it feels like a contradiction. Two things pulling, does it not? All drama is the effect of your desire for contradiction in your own being. End your desire for contradiction by seeing that it causes only suffering and loss of the soul. And you will watch as drama fades out of your life. This is not to say that your way of being might not be part of somebody else's drama. But you will look upon it and give them total freedom to let them have as much drama about your way of being as they wish. They're now free. And you will also come to see that because you are finally living without contradiction, your wholeness is disturbing their contradictions. And you will finally come to see, I once feared this, and yet now I see I'm finally loving them. Finally. For I come to love others only as I come to love first the self God would have me be. When I rest into that love, I rest into my Creator. That one loves through me and makes me into that which reveals the truth. As that truth is revealed, I don't need to huff and puff, I just need to enjoy it and observe that if my beingness disturbs another, the only thing it can disturb is their own contradictions. Rest assured, in a true family of the heart, and this pathway that you call your pathway is but a pathway ancient of years that requires the coming together of friends of the heart to form what is called the family of the heart, a resonant field of beings all devoted solely to the fullest flowering of the Christ in front of them. Thus, as you heal, as you grow, all you are is celebrated. Well, where's the drama to enjoy in that? And yet in this potential to generate a resonant field of more and more beings who come together devoted to that one purpose, grows exponentially the light of the Christ, which permeates and incarnates into the human matrix itself of consciousness. Does that make sense to you? Therefore, when you come together absolutely devoted to live without contradiction and love the one in front of you, your brother or sister, with all of the passion you can muster, devoted to the flowering of their own soul in Christ's mind, you are charging the entire matrix of human consciousness with the seeds of light that will transfigure that consciousness, so that heaven may descend to earth and heaven and earth cease to exist as separate states. If you keep this in mind, it will not be possible to ever be bored again. Look within even now and ask yourself this: can I yet justify my belief in the need for contradiction in my being? If you look honestly and well, you'll see how this dynamic plays in your relationships. Well, I want Christ's mind. Are you happy with me, dear? I fully support your flowering. That doesn't mean you're going to leave, does it? These are contradictions. Look well in the next 72 hours at where contradiction is still being acceptable to you. To heal that, merely bring that one. You become aware in your awareness that, you know what? Yeah, I get it. I see and feel the energy of contradiction in my relationship with so-and-so. My daughter, my son, whoever it may be. Bring the image of that one into your consciousness until you can sense and feel the light within what you call the breath. There's really actually nothing that is called breath. It's just the decision to allow light. That's what real breathing is. As you breathe that light and feel it, begin to wrap it around them, from beneath their feet, around them, and up above the crown of the head, like you're weaving what you would call a cocoon of light. Breathe into that light and let it radiate brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter until the cocoon itself becomes a field of light that suffuses them completely. Almost as if their form, their image that you're seeing can hardly be seen anymore because there's just light. Then say to them, "Forgive me, for I have used you to keep my contradictions. But you belong wholly to the Father and not to me. From this moment forward, I love you only as Christ loves, and I serve only the flowering of your soul. It will no longer matter if you like me or reject me. It will no longer matter if we travel together or not in the third dimension. where I finally come to see that loving you is much more important than possessing. Forgive me, my brother or sister. Forgive me. If you do this, you will feel a deep untangling within your being. Knots within your own being will begin to dissolve and melt away. You will experience greater peace, what you call greater expansiveness of freedom. And in that, the light of God's love will inform you far better than you could have ever informed yourself how to be in relationship with it, that one, in any given moment. They will know that something has changed. They will feel it. This will precipitate for them a choice point. And you will know rather quickly which choice they're making. For you see, where you are entangled in contradiction with another soul, they too are entangled with you. You have a saying in your world, it takes two to the tango, to do the tango, yes? That's what you've been in. My contradictions in my being require you. They're saying the same thing about you, and you mix together and you dance with two left feet. Wondering why there's so much stumbling. As you begin to feel this melting within you, they will know something's changed. They may feel threatened. Perfectly okay. They may feel that something's changing, something's being lost. No one's saying a word. There's no external change. Something's in the air. They will sense it and feel it. That's their choice point. Likewise, for some, you will suddenly find that they're calling you one night and saying, you know, we really need to redo our relationship. I think we're spending too much time in drama. And you'll know that you've given them a great gift, and they've received it. And you'll know that before you is one whose soul is ripe to heal and awaken into the reality of love. At some point, you must ask yourself, what part of me yet believes I must retain in my life those who demand contradiction and drama in their relationship with me? Remember that nothing can come to you but that you have called it unto yourself. You are the creator of your experience. You are perfectly free as you release the desire for contradiction in your being to allow the entire outpicturing effects. The universe of what you know is just an effect of the use of your consciousness. It's not cause at all, it's just effect. You're perfectly free to allow it to completely dissolve, change, and disappear. And as you rest in your non-contradicted Christ mind, the entire universe will reappear. With lovers, friends, what have you, all of the forms of human experience, except that they will increasingly be devoid of contradiction and drama. Once I said unto you, beloved friend, what do you want truly? Are you at a place here in this hour when you are willing to recognize your freedom to truly want life without contradiction and drama.
Yes. Yes.
Then that must become your greatest love. That does mean you'll need to be willing to let all beings leave your life. Now, if you're holding on to contradiction, yet you think this sounds good, okay, I hear you, Jeshua. I'm now going to be ready to let all beings leave my life. I don't want a life of contradiction anymore. Oh shit, who's leaving? Oh my God, oh shit. I believe that is your word, is it not? Oh my God. No, wait, I didn't mean it. Maybe if I try hard enough and really want a life with no contradiction, that's it. Magic will strike, and all the beings that I'm holding on to in my life will suddenly want the same thing. We'll all be so happy together. But is this not to still be under the delusion that there is someone, another mail clerk, who is yet your God? Someone you require relationship with. In a life without contradiction, you are in love with your Creator. You are in and as the field of love, and you cannot help but love all beings equally and for the same purpose. You are fulfilled, you are at peace, you are free. And the one before you is the one sent of the Father, and you're there to flower their soul. Furthermore, as you rest into a life without contradiction and awaken into this quality of true Christed love, you will come to recognize there is no distance between you and another, and there's nowhere they can truly go. Except in their mind, thus carrying their body into a form of experience that they may believe saves them from having to be around a nut like you. But you will smile, for Christ knows that all minds are joined eternally. Distance is an apparition caused by the belief that the body is the primary reality. It is not. Is it then your son or your daughter you have feared losing? Is it a special lover or whatever, a friend? It doesn't matter the form. Look well to see, am I living in inner contradiction because of a belief this mail clerk must stay in a particular form of relationship with me? Now, to those of you, and there are a few of you, who are a little disturbed by the fact I may be calling your lover a mail clerk. Because after all, in your mind, they're so special. Rest assured, they are a mail clerk. They are constantly emanating the messages from the level of consciousness they most wish to be at. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Everybody's a mail clerk. You are living in one large cosmic postal system. That's all life and creation is. The emanation of messages, signals, vibrations that generate forms, feelings, perceptions, worlds, universes, cosmoses. You're living in a mailroom, and everyone and everything is a messenger. Everyone. What signals are they sending out? What signals, what pieces of mail are you delivering to another when you walk in front of them and extend your hand? When you open your eyes and look into theirs? When you make your home in the breathing? What is the piece of mail, the message, the memo you most wish to deliver to their heart? No contradiction. We invite you then in this moment to rest for just a moment. Breathe the angel of light into your being and look well and ask of yourself a simple question. What would it truly be like to feel myself as a being who lives without contradiction? Just ask that question. Let the light of Spirit breathe through you, and you will begin to manifest the feeling of it. Do you notice it? It comes rather quickly, doesn't it? It's immediate. Just by asking the question, breathing the light of Spirit, I begin to bring into manifestation my own direct experience of it. For you experience things at the level of desire and thought. And then they outpicture into forms of experience that mirror back to you certain vibrations. How does it feel?
It's good.
Light.
Yeah, very clear and clean.
Joyous.
It's with the light.
Do you hear the words you're all using to describe it? Breathe them all in. The question is, are you willing to feel those qualities of light all the time?
Yes.
Don't worry, because anytime you get tired of all those things, you can always generate a drama. So again, breathe the light of Spirit and return to the question again. And notice for yourself how quickly the feeling level of your being, which is closest to the level of light itself, begins to experience it. And notice what you feel. Allow it. And I say again unto you, what do you want truly? Christ knows that creation moves from the inside out and not the other way around. What I desire, I will feel. What I feel, because I desire it, will be what I follow. And what I follow begins to be manifested in what you call the outpicturing of form, context, relationship. You therefore have never experienced anything that you have not desired. You have experienced contradictions in life, yes? Yes. Only because it is contradiction you desire to experience. If you were to sit with the energy of contradiction in your experience, you will notice that its effects are exactly the opposite of everything you've just described. If you wish, you could look so clearly that you could literally list on one side of a piece of paper the qualities of desiring a life without contradiction, expansion, freedom, and all of the rest, and you would find the exact opposite correlates in the experience of contradiction. Therefore, the law of creation remains. It is by desire given to the sovereign, free, and holy child of God that one experiences precisely and only what they have most desired to experience. Period. Nothing has been caused but that I have called it to myself. I have wanted the feeling of contradiction in my being so that I can see it everywhere around me. And indeed, I will be attracted to and allow in those who are also caught in contradiction. Do you know those experiences? You seemed so nice when you brought me those roses. But now that we're in bed, I find there are 9,000 beings here with us as I make love to all of your contradictions. Then at times do you not feel trapped? Take a deep breath and remind yourself that trapped itself is the result of the desire to feel a certain quality and experience it. I can only be trapped by the habit of what I've desired, which has brought the experience into being with such repetition that I believe it is me, and that something outside is doing the trapping. Every feeling state you have is the result of an internal desire at the level of pure light and pure possibility. And therefore, the solution is at the same level. I once spoke of level confusion. I generate an effect of a life filled with contradictions. Now I'm going to end it by getting rid of the pieces I have manifested that I perceive as being contradictory, while not changing myself. Have you made this attempt in your world?
Yes.
Are you not left with even more contradictions?
Yes.
Therefore, the solution to every perceived problem, and you really have none, you have only effects, is to return to the level of light and ask simply, what do I want truly? I would love a life in which my beingness is without contradiction, so that everything I do, everything I think, every vision that comes, my use of time, the way the body breathes, the way the heart beats, all of it is free of contradiction, and I am fully at peace at all times. Then feel that. Drink it in. Visit the well of pure light, and it must come to pass as summer follows spring. The outpicturing or the effects must change to mirror the new desire. You've all heard that 1,000 times. But have you practiced it 1,000 times? No. You go back to contradiction. Oh yes, the level of light. All things manifest from light through the sovereignty of my choice. Yes, I got it. Okay, it's Sunday. I'm leaving my gathering with my friends of the heart. I've got it. Monday morning I do this. But by Tuesday I'm dealing with the effects, and the effects are really real out there. And I've got to respond to my boss's contradiction and da-da-da-da-da. Now you're back to causing the great confusion of mistaking effect for cause. You have failed to seek first the queendom. Therefore, for every perceived issue, obstacle, block, contradiction, whatever you wish to call it, first pause and remember, this is what I have wanted. And it's perfectly okay. What do I truly want now? Oh, to live without contradiction and therefore experience an incarnation without drama. I think I'll just drop that in the pebble in the pond, breathe the light of spirit with it, feel it. Really feel it. Let the feeling descend to every cell of the body and out through the auric field. Enjoy it. Rest in it. But the more you do this, the more you dissolve the habits of mind that serve the outpicturing of contradiction and drama. Does that make sense for you? Thus I once said to you, seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto you. You can't make them happen by rearranging effects. You can only bring about the change by returning to the level of true causation. Pure light, the use of desire, generating the flow of energy that becomes the effect first in my being, then the attraction of light. All of experience is like this. Where I dwell with my brothers and sisters who have awakened and mastered the use of light, we birth universes. We create by birthing universes and other planes of being. None of them have a molecule of drama, contradiction within them at all. It would not be possible to describe in the languages of your world what such universes look like and feel like. They are dimensions of pure light radiating at the purest level of freedom possible. The purest of light brings forth the purest of creations. And yet where you are free now because you have been created from the purest levels of light. Thus that purity is the essence of your own truth. It is the depth of your own soul and your only reality. You are free today. You are free now to begin to go to that level and join with us in bringing heaven to earth. You do this not by looking outside, but by looking inside. Where is light not fully abiding as my own nature? Where am I holding contradictory impulses? I want to love you, I want to set you free. Make sure you call and are home by 6. Interesting concept, 6. Has something to do with time. Another interesting concept. Look well then, beloved friends, for the message of this short hour is this. If you wish heaven to come to earth, if you wish to truly abide in form as the one who is Christ, look well to see where have I been allowing the energy of contradiction to still make a home in my being. Where am I willing to settle for that? For contradiction can only birth contradiction, and from contradiction comes all drama. When any two come together and look from wholeness without contradiction, and love wholly the flowering of the soul of the one before them, relationship requires not the least bit of effort. And there can never be even an element of doubt or blame for what arises. For love neither doubts nor blames. Does that make sense for you? If you truly realize that this is your last possibility of working out your salvation in incarnation within the field of humanity, because only in this remaining years of your incarnation will it be possible upon the earth plane for all of these ranges of vibration to even coexist. They won't be available any longer here. Would you not get on with it? Again, take a moment and use your physical eyes to look around at one another. And recognize the one that you are looking upon is beyond being worthy of you existing without contradiction. The one you are looking at now is beyond being worthy of your getting on with putting an end to contradiction in your being. So that when you look at them, there's no pollution in your vision of them. Does that make sense for you? Have you looked truly upon another and realized to the depth of your being that they deserve nothing less than the presence of God? And if you're the one looking at them, you're the one who can give that to them. And in your giving of only that, you realize the fulfillment of your own Christing. This is why I once said to my friends before I was about to depart from them, I leave you with but one request, that you love one another as I have loved you. This is exactly what we were discussing. I shared with them the essence of what I have shared with you in this hour. Many of you walked with me in that incarnation. Many of you have known me at other times, but you have come to me. We have walked together. I have loved you in the way that I have described it is possible to love. You will know me as your very self when you become as fully devoted to loving all from this place. And you know that place when you let yourself feel my love for you. You know what it's like, and you know the power of the purity of love's light itself, that looks upon you and wants nothing at all except your complete flowering as Christ. Is this not true? And yet still, some of you, shall we say, as you tilt into your human relational plane, still believe it's okay to be a little lazy. Allow some of the other vibrations to creep into the coloring of my relationship. Yes, I want your complete flowering as a soul, but right now I just need you to understand how right I am about what you're wrong about. And that I'm perfectly justified in asking that you make sure you come home every evening. Then you think you can go back to wanting them to flower their Christedness. Does that sound at all familiar?
Yes.
Indeed, beloved friends, is it not time, is this not the hour for you to realize if you want to awaken as Christ, you must love as Christ loves?
Yes.
And this is not a burden, it is liberation from all burdens.
Yes.
The burdens of fear, the burdens of contradiction, the burdens of drama, the burdens of limitation, the burdens of space and time, the burden of lack of manifestation. Every form of burden is destroyed in this love. For when you can love as Christ, in Christ's mind, then the Father knows that you can be entrusted with the fullness of his power. Whenever you encounter another soul on this planet who speaks of their suffering, their drama, their limitations, let them know that they need only look to the truth of the quality of their loving. And there they will find the source of the unloving effects they experience as their life. When you love with the purity of the light of Christ, you will know that you love all beings. You will also know that under the surface of the parts of their mind not yet brought into wholeness, that they love you. Their soul will be whispering thank you while their mind is screaming at you. But of what value is the scream of what does not exist? All you're doing is watching their dream. And you know that in that dream they are suffering. The only response to suffering is the extension of love. And there you are. You're home again. we are going to be, what you call in your language, in the upping of the ante. Ante. Upping. All of you are going to begin to feel within the next 72 hours a profound quickening of the energies of light descending into the matrix of human consciousness. Where you feel it stirring you the most and tempting you toward drama will simply be showing you where you're still allowing yourself to live with the contradiction. Now, why is this important? There is indeed a quickening going on in the movement of the Holy Mother as she prepares to take a bit of an evolutionary leap herself and change the forms and the vibrational levels through which she manifests her creation. Which, by the way, she's done a rather nice job, don't you think, so far? If you think you like sunrises now, there's indeed a great influx of light that's being directed, the simplest way to put it, into the matrix of human consciousness as the process of the atonement prepares for a big quickening on your plane. Therefore, there's no way for you to escape it. Not even television will help. What will help is your simple desire to come back to the question we asked you earlier. What do you want truly? Would you really, truly want to experience a life lived without contradiction and drama?
Yes.
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 And then utilize each and every moment to give yourself in devotion to that. You'll find that it's actually something that takes no effort. Contradiction takes effort to split yourself into two streams and try to coincide in both of them at the same time, in the same moment of relationship. Sure, dear, I'll be happy to go get the milk. When it's not true. That's a contradiction. It is effortless to choose to live without contradiction. As I enter this moment of relationship, whatever it may be, my God, I will suffer if I elect contradiction. And if I suffer, the one before me has no choice but to suffer because they're stuck with me right now. I love them. I don't want to harm them. I only want to give them what has been given me, and I have been loved by the light of Christ. I will give what I have received by offering them a being who lives without contradiction, recognizing their perfect freedom to stay or to go, to like or to dislike. Regardless of their choice, they cannot take from you the freedom and gift of loving them. And here is the perfect freedom of Christ, to love without condition. There, I believe the penny has dropped. Or a bar of gold, perhaps. precious friends. You have not yet begun to imagine what comes to pass. While you yet live with even a remote contradiction in your being, or a place of unforgiveness, that's a contradiction. It limits your ability to receive the vision of creation itself and what creation is unfolding itself to be. In a simple analogy, it would be that if creation can manifest an octave of 10, the degree of your contradictions, turn it down and you can only get a glimmer of an octave of 3. And even that will be astounding to you. The more you free yourself of contradiction, the more you free your vision, because it will come to move with and be moved by God's vision. You will literally see what's coming to pass. You will literally see that heaven and earth are moving to merge and become one frequency. And that it's about to take a major quantum leap in that sacred marriage. You literally see it as though you're looking through what you call your microscopes, very high-powered microscope. You're seeing creation at the subtlest level of desire and light emanating from the mind of God itself. This is common nature for Christ's mind. Therefore, understand well that lack of vision is directly related to the degree of contradiction I'm still allowing in my being. Does that make sense for you? Yeah. Have you not ever known the pain of feeling that you are living without vision? Yes. That you don't know the direction to go? Yes. What's clouding it is the contradictions you're insisting on maintaining in your being and in your relationships. As you choose to heal those by seeing how utterly valueless they are, vision changes. That is, light can descend. Clarity comes. So you may guess by now that the essential theme of what we wish to share with you in this hour is the power of contradiction. And the great desire you have given to it that it maintain itself in your being. For it generates a feeling of contradiction in your being, as if there are two streams of you. I want love, I'm afraid of love. I want freedom, I'm not leaving my house or my job. That contradiction within is the effect of your desire for the frequencies of contradiction. It then outplays in all of your relationships as a tension and a drama. All of those tensions and dramas are mirroring back to you the contradiction in your own inner desire. I wish to be loved, and I will be as soon as I'm truly worthy. Maybe you and I can work this out together. Therefore, come to see that as you decide to heal contradiction by returning to the source of cause at the level of light and desire, and merely begin to dwell in the question we ask of you, you will begin to feel the energetic qualities that many of you named. And it didn't take 75 months to get there. You'll begin to feel it immediately, because you always manifest what you desire, even temporarily. As you rest in that quality, those qualities of frequency, these will become what you love. As they become what you love, you will care for them. You will want them and desire them for yourself. They will come to make their home in your being just like all other frequencies ever have. Nothing you have thought you are, unworthiness, guilt, shame, and all of the rest, is you. You've invited it in, made a home for it, bedded it down at night, fed it every day, and made sure it stayed until you believed it was an appendage. They're all effects, and you are free to return to the level of light and desire as cause and truly feel what it's like to be a being who lives without contradiction, and therefore has no need of drama. Feel it, breathe it, be it, and you won't have to effort to make life change. It has no choice but to change. Because it is only an outpicturing or an effect of what you have desired to experience. Yes, that may mean some may be disturbed. The only thing that can be disturbed is their own dream of contradiction and drama. So in short, if they're electing to be disturbed, they are letting you know that though you are choosing anew, they are yet electing to use the infinite power of desire to experience contradiction, conflict, and drama. And they will believe that you are causing it. Love allows all things. Simply learn to recognize what the one before you is most desiring and give them their freedom to have it. Even as you are giving yourself freedom to have your desire. To look with great love upon them, to see them only as the light of Christ, holding them in that vision until someday they elect to hold themselves in it. And if they elect to leave your life, remember, loss is impossible. Frequency can dissolve from your environment, and it will simply be replaced by that which resonates with you more fully. The great question is that okay? It will mean giving up a particular belief inherent in the energy of contradiction and drama. I must have certain ones in my life, regardless of the level of consciousness they most desire. And if they're not desiring a lack of conflict because they want conflict, drama, contradiction, I must then endure it and join with them so that we have relationship. Yes, that rather does bring it home, doesn't it? Yeah. Beloved friends, this then is the most important work you can do now over the next 72 hours and then extending that into the next 30 days. Of really feeling these qualities of the non-contradictory life, the desire to live it, feel its qualities because it will replace every contradictory value that's ever made a home in your being. If you can do this over the next 72 hours and the next 30 days, you will indeed take a radical quantum leap yourself. as you join the frequency changes happening in both Mother Earth, the Holy Mother, and in the atonement of mankind. You're going to join that which creates the shaking. But you yourself will be experiencing far greater peace and ease. Does this sound a little selfish to you? You have heard it said, unto you should not be selfish, sacrifice for others. It is not possible for any individuated spark of light to be anything but selfish. Everything it does is based on the desire for what it most wants to experience. Then it joins with other sovereign beings or other life forms to generate the context that reverberates that desire through the nature of their felt experience. Does that make sense? Yes. This is why I once said to you, become divinely selfish. So selfish that all you want is the self God has made and would birth ceaselessly through you. To love that self so profoundly that frequencies of drama have no place to make a home in your being.
Yes. Oh.
When sufficient numbers of humanity are divinely selfish, there will be an explosion of light unimaginable, and all beings incarnate on the planet at the time will enter Christ mind.
Yes.
Next Monday.
Could happen. It's up to you. Though we would say from where we're looking, it may be closer to Wednesday. You see, the trick of the atonement is this, the transfiguration of human consciousness. Sovereignty is essential. You can't make, manipulate, cajole anybody into wanting to wake up.
No.
You can become the living proof that doing so is very attractive.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
So in this way, I once said to my beloved brother, love attracts the seeker of reality to itself. It does not need to get behind and push. Lead by being the one who has received the atonement for themselves. Letting that light flower your joy, follow your heart, follow your bliss. You know all of these interesting little statements. Use them. Your greatest bliss, your greatest joy can never be found in seeking to generate a third-dimensional experience, but wanting to rest into the level of cause at light and desire to generate the feeling quality you most want in that light. As you sustain that, it becomes your outpictured experience. As you come to master that, then you will manifest miraculously. I did this at a small party we were having in Cana. It was an Essene wedding, by the way. There were several that were coming together. I I've shared this with you before, perhaps marriage will not be the right word to use because of what mankind has done with the concept. Beings that were coming together to generate the field of light and to serve in certain ways and to celebrate their union in light, not union in flesh. Now you're my wife and I possess you. None of that stuff. So it was an Essene wedding, an Essene gathering of beings that were choosing to come together at that time. Some of them joined and experienced each other what you would now call sexually. Some never did. It's like big deal. Not a big deal to them. Some of them joined and never saw each other again physically. They went to various different places within the extended community, and they joined at levels of light to create matrices and patterns, etc., and serve in that way. Now, can you imagine a wedding in your world? Let's get married tomorrow and never see each other the day after. The parents would wonder what they spent all that money on. Because marriage is about putting two bodies under the same roof. Not about joining frequencies of desire at the level of light. But you see, in what you call marriage, that is all you're doing. You've used light and desire to believe that you are a body and you need another body to make your body feel good and warm at night, and they both must live under the same house, and you each have property rights. You use light and desire to generate thought, perception, belief, vibrational qualities that ends up two beings getting married and making sure their socks are in the same drawer. And a blanket. This is called great accomplishment. True marriage is a marriage that occurs between the soul and the creator of the soul. And this is why I've said when any two look within and find no lack, they can join to make happy. They can join to create and serve the extension of light. And certain ones of that Essene party joined for just those purposes. They had a deep resonance, a level of certain mastery had been achieved in their own individual journeys, and they joined at the level of light, yet never saw each other again physically. They still are joined. And others make other choices. The whole point, you're a sovereign being, you're free. Why am I coming into a certain form of relationship? What is it that's truly moving this forward? Is it my desire born of a lower frequency from which I have made from here being alone? Now I'm joining with another to overcome my aloneness. You will have your experience. But because you cannot join bodies together in order to overcome aloneness, for this is to take form and make it change content, it cannot work. The only place change occurs is at the level of light and desire. You cannot make effect become cause. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
So, beloved friends, practice well. You have loved one another as we have been watching you these past few moments, what you call your days. They're just moments to us. There is within this growing family a recognition that is becoming unshakable, a recognition of the truth, the willingness to abide with one another and be the conduit for the truth for another.
Yes.
There is within you a growing confidence that the truth is within me.
Yes.
A few of you have noticed a slight, what you call here your phrase, the amping up of things in the last few days.
Yes.
Miracles abounding. You might as well take a breath and congratulate yourselves. They have not been forced upon you. Indeed, from this time in the last of your year, we have been joining with everyone who was there last year, and many of you have returned again. You have answered the call to come, but in the intervening year's time, you have purified your own illusions ever more sufficiently. Many of you know that you arrived at this year's what you call the festival with a knowing that wasn't there last year.
Yes.
Here's an interesting phrase I am finding. You had that which the horse does, the chomping at the bit, chomping of the bit.
Yeah.
You couldn't wait to get here just to love one another.
Yes.
And you couldn't wait to find out who is answering the call to be here for the first time.
Yes.
Just so you could love them.
Yes.
Wait till next year. For indeed, the call has gone out more clearly than ever. And in the coming year, you're going to see the call being made, shall we say, more manifestly public. That indeed it is time to come together, the lovers of light.
Yes.
Who cares where they come from, what they've ever believed? They will know their own and they know themselves. To come together into this vortex of Christ's mind, devoted to the recognition that you are cause and not effect, and that all things seen and experienced by mankind are but the effects of how mankind has elected to use light and desire, and that the time is upon us now to end the useless use of light and desire. For the time of creating that which mirrors separation has already been completed. You know the fruit of separation. You know that you can manifest it in space and time and in emotional experience and in drama and in contradiction and in conflict. You know you can do this in the blink of an eye.
Yes.
Now is the time to realize that heaven can come to earth in the blink of an eye.
Yes. Yes.
Thus, all of you have within you the potential to dramatically contribute to this growing wave of light by looking well within and electing to be the one who lives without contradiction in themselves.
Yes.
Nothing could more profoundly allow the emanation of light from your being, sending out the signal to all those who are ready you haven't even met yet. And you will end up attracting them to you. They'll be sitting next to you in what you call, interesting word you have, the tube. I entered what you call the tube. It's not much scenery.
Where did you go?
It was on what you call the little tube thing. Bayswater.
Bayswater.
Some interesting characters. Not much scenery I would prefer to be amongst the trees myself. The point being that you may meet them there. You may meet them in casual moments in the grocery store. Pay close attention to the vibration you feel, especially as you clear yourself of your contradictions and need for drama, because you will be emanating greater clarity of light, and love attracts the seeker of reality to itself. You will feel a little buzz. Follow it. Introduce yourself. Emanate light and love to them. Your opportunities for this are going to be increasing 1,000-fold in the coming weeks and months. The only thing that can prevent it is a return to the desire for inner contradiction that thus cripples the field of energy you will emanate. Those that seek the light are not attracted to those that are crippled by contradiction.
No more.
No more. We then suggest to you that we're not quite finished with you. We ask and have already asked that you come together in the remaining of your evening after you eat your meal with no contradiction, sitting right where you want to sit with no contradiction, being with who you're drawn to be with no contradiction, to return, and we'll be using a certain mail clerk, and a few things new are going to be happening for the mail clerk and through the mail clerk. And he's completely in charge of whether it is successful or not.
I've been feeling that all day. Stop it.
Beloved brother, it is not we who can stop it, for we are not arrogant enough to believe that we are so responsible. Therefore, look well to see how you enjoy the pressure of responsibility. And remind yourself that a mail clerk is just a mail clerk.
Yeah.
And be willing to allow the CEOs to deliver the message. Therefore, your role is simply your willingness. When your willingness is as purified as was mine, you will know that all power under heaven and earth can move through you. For the one who sends that power is not the mail clerk, but the creator of the mail clerk. Therefore, of yourself you do nothing, but the Father through you will do all things. You still have a few places of trepidation. Yet trepidation is only a delay.
who want to be willing. Oh God, I want to be willing. Oh! Ah! 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 God!
My brother, that's not going to help. Give up wanting to be willing and hoping by force you can make yourself willing, but rather look only to see what fear is obstructing my willingness.
I'm afraid to get it wrong.
There you go. I am afraid to get it wrong. So now attune to that frequency that you have brought forth from light via desire to experience the trepidation that keeps you stuck. And simply say, this is my creation.
This is my creation.
I have a fear of getting it wrong.
Of getting it wrong.
Look upon that. And simply remind yourself, I can hardly get wrong what I do not know how to get right.
I can hardly get wrong what I do not know how to get right.
Exactly. Let that drop in. I don't know how to get it right because I'm not the doer and the maker.
I don't know how to get it right because I'm not the doer or the maker.
All I have to offer is my willingness.
All I have to offer is my willingness.
That is the extent of your treasure.
I am willing. I am willing.
Now, can you feel the difference between I am willing and I want to be willing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I am willing. This is true. It's true. It's true through all of me.
Yes.
Oh! It's true through all of me.
Rest always in this, my beloved brother, for the deep pattern you have carried is this fear of wrongness. It's been there for many lifetimes. So you could say it has got its roots in there.
Yeah.
Yet you effort from the fear. Yet the fear is based on a false belief.
Yeah.
I cannot get wrong what I don't even know how to get right. For that which the Father would bring through me is that which I do not know how to do.
Yeah, how would I? Yeah.
I'm the mail clerk. I do not write the memos.
I'm just here to deliver.
Just here to deliver.
Just here to deliver. Angel Express. I cannot know.
I cannot know. In my willingness to let the CEO deliver the memo through me, the memo then is delivered to me. And I become increasingly the essence or the vibration or the frequency of what the CEO would share. Make sense?
Yes. Yes.
A
Yes.
few of the others could probably learn from this too. The fear of getting it wrong. You cannot get wrong what you do not know how to get right. Only love emanating from light expresses divine rightness. Your task is to surrender in your willingness to allow light and love to move through you, and thus to witness what true rightness actually is in any given moment. So that's what the moment was for. Does that make sense for you?
Yes. Thank you, brother.
The rest of you can help your brother by, when you see him, just remind him, you are far from capable of even knowing how to get anything right.
It's true. It's true.
Help him a little more by saying, therefore, this song and dance of this drama about getting it wrong, oh, bury it.
I'm burying it now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm digging a deep hole to put this in.
Leave it buried in the past. Where once it was created in a way to try to deny that you belong to God.
It's always been me. Yeah. I belong to God.
Those that belong to God know they know nothing and have no need to know. Having no need to know, they waste no time in opinions. And they are completely free of the fear of getting anything wrong. They have no concept of right that they're trying to make happen. They're too busy loving their Creator and allowing their Creator to love them. It is called Christ.
I was resisting God. I was resisting God. Trying to get things right.
Just get things right, then God will stop avoiding me. No, my attempt to get things right is my attempt to avoid God. Did you all feel that release that occurred? It's rather a sweet one. And therefore, we would share with all of you. You are not alone. There is nothing that you cannot bring to us if you first let us abide with you. Those of you that have called out to me as Jeshua, you're free to do so, but I have a lot of friends, and we come together. That which is your lineage, that which is the Christed council of beings, the masters that have gone before you and worked through the very things you're working through. All of us are available to you. We are legion. And all we desire is to add to our circle with you. Or if you join us and our number grows, what you would call here your tipping point, can come more quickly. And rest assured, as I said to you earlier, as you free yourself of all contradiction, the depth of your ability to see with pure vision increases. Rest assured when I say unto you, the day and the hour rapidly approaches when enough beings on this planet will have awakened to the truth as cause and not effect, that in the snap of a finger, the blink of an eye, Christ's mind will come to be awakened in every soul dwelling on this planet. It's already been shown to us, and that's what we're serving. You could just say that our glasses are a little stronger than yours. And so we invite you, by being the love that you seek to remember you already are. Be you therefore that which you are. Love one another as you have first been loved. Join with us and witness the transfiguration of humanity into the embodiment of Christ. Sharing, celebrating, extending God's creation with utter perfection, joy, effortlessness, and bliss. And then the purpose of space and time will have come to a close. And you will find yourself free to birth and create in universes upon universes upon universes that right now you cannot even begin to imagine or possible. First things first. For the way you get there is by freeing yourself of inner contradiction.
Without inner contradiction, I'd like to just share a song. May the family grow, attracting all beings to come home, to love and be set free, to extend all that is good, holy, and beautiful. May them extend all that is good, holy, and beautiful. May the family grow, attracting all beings to come home, to love and be set free, to extend all that is good, holy, and beautiful, to extend all that is good, holy, and beautiful.
Sounds like what you would call a hit. I would suggest, beloved brother, do what you call the musical accompaniment, and this evening when we're, shall we say, done with our brother here, and we cast him aside, exhausted to be trampled on by the worms.
I am willing.
Then to have all of you together to sing that song.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And so with that, precious friends, we will bring this brief hour to a close. For what has been needed to be transmitted has been shared. And it was finally fully received, and that's why I asked you a moment ago, did you feel that?
Yes.
Seed is dropped in each and every one of you now.
But I missed that.
It was not the trip to the loo, it was your belief in your continued unworthiness. No, you'll miss nothing. There is no such thing as privacy. Though at times when we look upon you in humanity, we could understand why you would wish there is. Just remember, your thoughts shout much louder than your actions. And so with that, beloved friends, brothers and sisters, we are with you because we love you. You know of us because you have longed to love, and come home.
Yes.
It is that longing within you that attracts us to you. For in you we know there is the capacity of one who can blossom as the Christ, and thus join our circle. Join us in the bringing of heaven to earth, even as earth rushes to meet heaven. Unlike you, we don't waste our time with those who do not want that light.
Yes.
Just something to think about. Therefore, know you are loved. Know that we are with you. Know that there will never be a time that we are apart from you, and there can be no condition that cannot be given back to the light and desire of pure cause, that the effect you believe is real can be dissolved from before your very eyes. Remember then that we dwell with you at the level of cause. And we would help you return to this knowledge that you can only be cause and not effect. Join with us then as the cause of that which brings heaven to earth by returning to the light of the love of Christ. This is what you can strengthen as you embrace one another, as you abide with one another, for you have come together in that one person. You are but one person. To dwell in that light, to be that light, to remember that light, to strengthen that light, because you have already decided what matters.
Yes.
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 Is it not time to give up the thought of fooling yourself?
Yes. Yes.
There's no one in this room who is not fully 100 what you call the percent devoted to the light. Sometimes your old habits of mind look attractive.
Yes.
They may look attractive, but they're no less untrue. Therefore, remember the truth of what you desire. Share it with one another. Allow that sharing to strengthen the field of light between you. For goodness sakes, let go of the silly distraction of grievances and hopes of anything to gain from one another, for there is only the celebration that only love is real.
Yes.
And from there we invite you to enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Interesting concepts. We have never found a noon for which there is a before or after. Anyway. Celebrate with one another, love one another well, and know all that is offered and all that is needed is but your willingness. We are all, after all, mail clerks.
Yes.
Be you therefore at peace. Peace I give unto you, because I love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jane.
See, we did.
It'll be okay to move when everything becomes solid again. Well, I guess solid enough.
Thank you, Jane.